um, of this rant, I guess you would call it. But after listening to Lex's video yesterday, where was it down here? Here. After listening to this video about the fake race, he started mentioning, clay people and stuff like that. Start talking about the over in the Asia area, and started mentioning things that I'd heard about in a novel back in January, February of this year. And I'd asked around the people I thought would be knowledgeable, and they all like, I don't know, you can't trust what you hear and all this other stuff. But now coming out, the Lex and them are bringing up stuff that I heard back over there, and nobody had answers to. But now it looks like we're gonna get some answers finally. What caught my eye when I seen this, right, is this is a pope. He's wearing the fish hat of Dagon or Dogon, however you want to pronounce it. Behind that clock, there's a witch, right? You got a full moon, and you got some type of demon wearing with a staff, and he's got a goat head, but his eyes are, well, I guess those are goat eyes. I almost thought they were like fly eyes, but that's what caught my attention. So I stopped and started listening to this. Right now, let me take you down a little journey. There's things that are referenced in this book that, as Lex was talking yesterday, this stuff started popping into my head. Let me see here. I'm gonna need to. Come on. Oh man, it's a hot day here in Pennsylvania. It's a foolish kind of hot. It looks like it's gonna rain, but they ain't don't no rain in the forecast. It's just extremely hot though. All right, where I want to take you to is 3 minutes in. 3 minutes, about 3 minutes and 19 seconds. All right, you ready for this? Listen to this, right? Let's start talking about the Jews were the ones that were making these clay people, or these people out of clay. Now listen to this. In this novel, when people kept telling me to ignore, that you can't trust what you hear.
I sent Benton to Ormond.
They say that the one of the Yazidi assassins, this is about assassins basically coming to kill a girl that worked for Erlik, a god that I seem to not be able to find too much about, and I wonder if it's actually Moloch or something to that effect. And they just switched his name for this book, but it's about a girl that's in Asia, and she serves at the temple with other girls that are taken from their parents that serve at the temple, and they're taught sorcery and stuff like that. But they're not supposed to become too powerful because there's 8 lords that guard 8 towers throughout Asia and into the towards the end toward Asia Minor, towards the Middle East. There, in this book, it almost gives you the idea that there's a pact somehow between Asia and the Arab world, that they're in a alliance, and everything between them as far as Asia and them and India, they're all in a pact, in an agreement together. They're all working together with their powers or dark forces, however you want to put it, to take down the whole world, for their god that they're connected to, from that's on a black planet. And I'll get to that. Right, check this out though. So he said it was the Jews are in on this, right? Now listen to this, right? She's being chased down by a Yazidi sorcerer right now.
And I went to Palaka. Benton picked up his trail. It led toward you, toward the St. John's, and the reptile has been here 48 hours, trying to nose you out, I suppose. Tressa came into the room. Both men looked at her. Cleve said in a guarded voice, "Today, on the golf links at Orchard Cove, there was a young man in white flannels, very polite and courteous to us, but—" Tressa thought she saw him slinking through the woods as though following and watching us. "My man, probably," said Recklow. He turned quietly to Tressa and sketched for her the substance of what he had just told Cleves. "The man in white flannels on the golf links," said Cleves, "was well built and rather handsome, and not more than 25. I thought he was a Jew."
Ah, did you get that? I thought he was a Jew. All right, I'm fooling with you, but let's get to this next piece here. All right, now they're gonna start talking about Gog and Magog in a duel. This sorcerer and her this temple girl and the sorcerer, the one of the 8 lords that she's battling with. They get into a duel and they start talking about Gog and Magog, and I'm like, I started asking around, well, what's the chance of Gog and Magog are over in Asia and in the Mongoloid area, you know what I'm saying, in India or something like that. And everybody's like, I don't know what you're talking about, that's Russia, and it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna still look, but I had a hard time coming up with anything else outside of that. Let me see, I gotta skip ahead to, I got notes. Come on now. Computer, do as I say.
That prophesied with a drum that the 3 purities, the 9 perfections, and the 9 times 9 felicities
Now remember 9, alright? Because 9's connected to this black planet I'm going to show you.
shall be lodged in him who slays the treacherous temple girl, Cuke-Mongol. There is more magic in this bottle which I grasp than in thy mind and body. Heavenly eyes, I pray God to be merciful to this soul I send to Erlik. All the time he was advancing, edging cautiously around the circle of little plumy pines, and already the wind struck his left cheek. "Yarguz Khan," cried the girl in her clear voice, "take up your shroud and repeat the father." "Backward," laughed the young man.
I wonder why he says backwards. You think about George Bush and them reading that book, 9/11 backwards, you know what I'm saying, and having those kids, say plane must hit steel and stuff like that, and George Bush's father, he calls himself, what was it, Magog. So I just wonder what that's all about, reading backwards.
"As do you, Cuke-Mongol." "Heretic," she retorted, "do you also refuse to name the 10 imams in your prayers? Dog, toad, spittle of Erlik, may all your cattle die and all your horses take the glanders and all your dogs the mange." "Silence, sorceress," he shouted, pale with fear and fury. "Witch, mudworm, may Erlik seize you. May your skin be covered with putrefying sores. May all the demons torment you. May God remember you in hell." "Yarguz, stand still." "Is your word then the rampart of Gog and Magog? You
See that? Is it the rampart of Gog and Magog? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I was like, who are the Gog and Magog? And I know he's saying, is it that powerful? So I'm just wondering, who are they? In an aspect of what they're dueling over. I got a little bit more.
young witch of Yian, that a Khan of the 7th tower and you'd fear you?" He sneered, stealing stealthily westward through the feathery pines. "I give thee thy last chance, Yarguz Khan," she said in an excited voice that trembled. "Recite thy prayer naming the 10, because with their holy names upon thy lips thou mayest escape damnation. For I am here to slay thee, Yarguz. Take up thy shroud and pray." The young man felt the west wind at the back of his left ear. Then he began to laugh. "Heavenly eyes," he said, "thy end is come, together with the 2 police who hide in the pines yonder behind thee. Behold the bottle magic of Yarguz Khan." And he lifted the...
All right, I'm going to have to make a part 3 of this, so stay tuned.